researching ideas. So just testing their feasibility and come up with the research. So you do have a lot of opportunities. Yeah. And I think instead of focusing on this, we'll move ahead and I'll just tell you the benefits of the DeepFunding Academy itself. It's basically, we leverage Andamio to provide a PBL course for individuals coming in, and these individuals actually have like the tasks, the important things to learn about, and to have practical knowledge to make the most out of deep funding. They learn about the opportunities, they learn how to stay on top of things and how to make the most out of them in a very simple way. I think there are plenty of benefits, and Roberto will also illustrate some of those, like the certifications. But besides that, you have the benefit of actually learning from the experience of members that have gone through this process. They've made a lot of mistakes or spent a lot of time reading the guidelines or whatever, and we just simplify it for you. And besides that, you have a community that you go in. We have a Discord. You have people to ask questions, people that have a lot of proposals already approved and the know-how you need, and also people to share your ideas and even to find collaboration into new proposals. And we are also providing workshops and Q&A sessions for people to ask their questions, get the support to participate in deep funding. And in the future, we might even have some proposal mentorship, so one-on-one mentorship to try to help you create the best proposal possible and hopefully maximize your chances of getting funded. But yeah, Roberto, please take this and explain them a little bit more about other awesome things like our certification process.
Thanks, Rafa. If I could share the screen real quick. Thanks, Rafa. Okay, so I recognize most of you here. I think we're among friends, so I'm going to be kind of a little bit off script. I have my notes here because sometimes I go on tangents, but mostly I'd like to know how many of you are familiar with SingularityNET and deep funding before this presentation. If you could give me just a thumbs up if you heard about SingularityNET or deep funding before today. Kyle, Alex, well, like everybody. Okay, cool. So why use Andamio and deep funding? So Felix is not here today, but he is a member of Swarm. He's a veteran of Catalyst, and he's very well connected. And he introduced us actually to the Singularity ecosystem. Through Singularity and deep funding, we applied in deep funding Route 3 for a grant, and the grant's purpose is, like Rafa said, to onboard people into the deep funding ecosystem. A lot of you know overall what Andamio is and kind of what it does. And so what I kind of want to explain is what is the fit here and why are we doing this? And the first thing I'd like to begin, and I see that Yoram is here. This is something that he talks a lot about, and it's how many of you know or can show what you've done for Catalyst as a reviewer or as a proposer? Can you go anywhere and say, well, this is my trajectory within this community, this is what I have contributed and what I get back from that community? And the answer is really, it's hard, right? I'm not a veteran, I haven't been that way, but it seems like there's not a lot that you can see that can give you that information. And at the end of the day, we talk a lot in Cardano about community and how to build community, and what makes Cardano special is the community. But there are not really that many tools that allow us to interact as a community. And what I mean by that is that in a community, you give and you don't necessarily expect monetary rewards back, but you give because you get something out of the community as well. You get any type of services, you get knowledge, you get guidance, you get all these types of services that are not at any point converted into financial rewards. You're never thinking about that. You just do it because you are part of the community and you recognize value in being part of that community. So what Andamio does, and most of you already know this, is onboard people to communities, to projects, so they can learn, acquire skills that will later allow them to make impactful contributions to solve meaningful problems. And how we do this in DeepFunding Academy is basically by providing resources so that you can be a valuable member of the process of deep funding. And what that means is that you'll acquire skills to be a skillful reviewer, a skillful proposer, and a skillful voter. At the same time, you'll participate in a community of peers that have the same interests, whether that's being a reviewer, proposer, or voter, and you'll be able to share with them what you know and questions and answers to different problems. So how does that look? How many of you know what SLTs are? Again, if you could. Oh, James knows. No way. Jonathan knows as well. Okay, perfect. So student learning targets, I'm going to tell you anyway because I have it written down. So student learning targets are specific measurable learning goals, and they are designed to focus on critical skills or knowledge that students should develop. They are an integral part of any instructional program and are really useful to get feedback from the learning process. So in the DeepFunding Academy, if you go, and I'm going to put the link on the chat. See, 1 second. If you go to start course, the first thing you're going to see is the module outline. And each module, you can navigate here or you can navigate here. If you go to the overview, which is the first like little link here, you're going to find an overview of the module, and you're going to find what are the SLTs that module covers. So as you can see in the first few modules, it's very much about onboarding you to what is SingularityNET, what is DeepFunding, and what is DeepFunding Academy. And what we do is really, really briefly give you an overview of what are the values, what is SingularityNET and DeepFunding about, and how you can connect with the DeepFunding Academy community. Why? Because the first thing that you're going to have is probably questions, and you're going to want to troubleshoot stuff or just engage with the rest of the community. So we sort of give you a little tour of what that means. And at the end, your task is to engage with the DeepFunding Academy community. What that means is that you'll join this DeepFunding Academy server, and you'll interact with other members. And the task is going to be to provide that evidence of that interaction. So you get a guide. If you don't know how to install an AMI wallet, there's a little tutorial here that shows you how to install an AMI wallet and to configure it to use the pre-prod network. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this video sometimes. I don't know if you've ever engaged with Gimbalabs. You probably have seen James explain how to configure and set up a AMI wallet. So if you're not much of a reader, you can just click on the video. And as with the Plutus PBL, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, you end the first module by minting your learner token. So you just click on the link, and this is for you. You guys are pros at this. You don't need to even tell you, but you mint your learner token, you do your alias. I'm going to do, this is my like 4th account, so I'm going to do learner 4. And I never get tired of doing this because I always find it so cool that this is kind of like magic to me still. And you mint your learner token. And as many of you know, what that means is that as you progress through the course with your learner token, once you end it, and you'll see, for example, in the first module, there's not a lot to do because you're being onboarded. Is there a question in the chat? Let me just, that's an NFT. Yeah. As you go through the first module, you're basically we're telling you how to navigate through the DeepFunding Academy and Singularity ecosystem and how to engage with the DeepFunding Academy community. But in the second one, you will start having some tasks, right? So in the first couple of modules, if you go to the first lesson, which is I know where to learn about DeepFunding, your task is to join the DeepFunding Academy Discord and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about DeepFunding and Singularity's vision and mission. Just your thoughts. Just what do you understand by it? What do you think it is? And if you agree, if you align, if it's something that interests you, that's one task. And then if you go to the lesson 102.2, you'll find another task. And it's joining the Twitter community. We're kind of promoting ourselves here, but that's part of the task. And at the end is a proposal drafting exercise. And you'll see as you progress through the course, through the modules, that it gets more and more involved. It is kind of challenging. And because it's a project-based methodology, as you've seen with the Plutus PBL, there's not a lot of handholding. It invites you and kind of, yeah, I'm going to say invite. That's a positive word. Invite you to engage and explore with the content. So you have to go to the DeepFunding AI website. You have to read a lot, the rules. You have to see and find out what are the guidelines. You need to find out what are the categories that you can apply. And this is meant to just give you a really overall high, bird's eye view of what this all means, what this community is about, and what that deep funding process is about specifically. Because the aim of this, at the end of the day, is to be a part of the deep funding, not just the Singularity, but specifically the deep funding community, and provide value to that community. Because eventually, hopefully, by going through this course, you will get something back from that community, be that rewarded a grant from a proposal, from a successful proposal that you'd learn how to do in DeepFunding Academy, or just being a reviewer or getting a review of your proposal. I was talking to the team, DeepFunding Academy team. This is something my wife has been a researcher for a long time, and when she was doing her PhD, I kind of learned about the peer review process. And publishing a paper is super expensive. It's like $3,000, if at least. And when you review a paper, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a 40 professor with 40 years of experience. You don't get paid a dime, not one single dime. And I always told my wife, man, you guys are getting ripped off. What is this about? How is it possible that you guys are not getting paid? Who's getting paid? And well, the publisher is getting paid, and that's a whole other issue. But I really found it really hard to understand what is the motivation then of any scientist to peer review a paper. It takes work, and they do a really good job of it, of really going carefully over papers. And it's really about this sense of community. They are scientists all over the world that once an editor tells them, listen, you are an expert on this subject, we need you to review this paper, they will take it on for free in their own time. They're not getting paid for this. And to me, that is a sense of community. It would be much better if they would get some rewards. But really, when you think about the job and the task, the time that goes into reviewing Catalyst proposals, the expertise and the experience that is behind the people that do those proposals, that's impossible to pay. Catalyst would go broke in one round because that time is really very, very valuable. So we cannot really do it for the money. That can't be the the motivation behind doing that. But it can be community. It can be, and it is to some point, what sustains and gets us to good community reviews. The review process of Catalyst is mainly because we care about Catalyst. We care about Cardano. We want good proposals to be funded. Yeah, we might not like everything about Catalyst, but at the end of the day, we still put the time. We still do the effort. A lot of them put the effort. There's just like how many proposals were reviewed just last round. And people have quantified how many hours go into that, and it's ridiculous. So the idea with Andamio and creating the DeepFunding Academy on top of Andamio is to provide that sort of value of community, to create this network of people that are participating in one activity in an ecosystem. I don't want to say community again, because they care. They are there to build not just relationships with the project itself, but relationships with others, relationships with projects, et cetera, et cetera. How you do this? Well, it's based on SLTs, and it's based on project-based learning, and it's also the other side, which is eventually those SLTs that go into your credentials is an evidence of the work and the time that you've put into the community. And it will give you some credentials. By participating in the DeepFunding Academy, going through the process and demonstrating that you know how to do things, I don't like this word, but I'm going to say it, you're part of an elite. You have shown that you can do the work. Part of going through the module of being a reviewer at DeepFunding Academy is creating a review. Is being able to tell if a proposal is eligible or if it's not eligible. And you're going to have to provide evidence to that. Like I was saying, in each lesson, in each module, you'll find a task. And at the end of the module, you'll find a part where you can show your work. And what you'll do, and the instructions are very simple. You can just provide a link to a Google document that can show a screenshot, some text, the completion of the assignment, the completion of the tasks that each lesson includes. And if you think about it, it's just a link. That link can go broke and it can get broken at any time. It can be obsolete, whatever Google goes down, who cares? At the end of the day, what you will have is someone that has a token that says that they've done something, and another part that is a reviewer, that the course facilitator, I'm sorry, that has said that that work was done. And so at the end of the day, what this does is it lifts up human interaction. We're not creating systems to automate and abstract and get rid of people. We are creating that network of trust relationships of people that do the work and other people that approve or deny that the work has been done according to some criteria. To me, that is building community. That is creating relationships where people can see some token, can see some evidence of things done, can see that someone approve of that, and can say, yeah, okay, I can trust that this works. And you'll be, as the network grows, as participation grows in initiatives like DeepFunding and others, because at the end of the day, Andamio is a network. And the idea, the reason why we use SLTs is so that we have a communication layer, so that all of these SLTs can communicate between Andamio instances, between courses, and you'll be able to move those credentials around through this ecosystem that is Cardano, or this ecosystem that is Singularity. And those credentials are going to be your pass that tells the bouncer, tells the instructor, tells the organization, the hirer, the whatever, this is what I can do. And this is who has said that I can do what this says. And you can go to Andamio, you can go to any explorer, and you can see what I know to do, what was asked of me to do, when it was asked, all of that really, really fancy stuff that the blockchain does. At the end of the day, what it will create is this chain of evidence. Will foster trust in people that cannot meet face to face. We cannot, it's impossible. We're all over the world. It would be impossible for us to meet, and I can gauge, is this guy really sneaky, or is he bluffing? Is he telling me lies? We can't do that. We need to find different ways to create community while being in different places. And we believe in Andamio, and the DeepFunding Academy also believes in this, and this is why we're building on Andamio and DeepFunding as well, that we can create these tools, we can use tools like blockchain, we can use this technology to amplify what we already do as humans among ourselves in our localities. We can do it globally because we have these tools. We have invented, I haven't done it, but we have these available, right? And just by doing these things, by doing these sort of symbolic, transactional tasks, we can create this evidence that will allow us to create a history of what we provide as value to any given community, any ecosystem. At the end of the day, what we hope is that these credentials will allow you to contribute to solve real-world problems, to solve impactful problems. And that means collaborating with organizations, which is a big problem that we have in all ecosystems. A few days ago, like a week ago, someone posted, I think it was Pete, one of the Cardano ambassadors, I wonder what this profile is. And there was some company asking to hire like a Cardano developer, but I don't think we realize how niche that profile is. I've been talking to successful, let's say, people that have gone over the mountain, that have either a job as a Cardano developer or develop products as Cardano. It is ridiculous. It is insane what they need to know, what they need to do, what they need to understand just to be able to create a smart contract, a safe and useful smart contract. And so obviously organizations are having trouble onboarding contributors to their organizations and solving these problems. And we need to sort of facilitate that. And this, hopefully, not through the DeepFunding Academy, we're talking about another thing, is just a tool to help do those things, to put the recruitment and hiring process, I like to think of it that way, just upside down, and provide those onboarding process at the beginning, and make sure that the people that engage with that material and learn those skills, those are the people that are interested in solving the problems that we are also interested in solving, and they have the credentials to prove it. And it's going to be on chain. It's forever. It's not a paper. You're never going to lose it. It's not going to get stained. You don't have to put it in a little frame on the back of your wall so everyone knows what you do. You're so fancy. It doesn't matter. It's going to be on your token, and you can take that with you anywhere you go. That is in a really, really long-winded way, because I've been talking nonstop for like 25 minutes, what the DeepFunding Academy aims to do. And it's, at the end of the day, super simple. You are familiar with Plutus PBL. You know what this is about, right? You go to each of the modules. Each module has a number of lessons. Each lesson has a task at the end with instructions. And we're going to add assessment criteria as well, so you know what's expected of you. And at the end of the module, you have a little show your work, and you'll submit evidence, and we'll have course facilitators on the other side that are going to evaluate that evidence against the assessment criteria. If you pass, those student learning targets will go immediately to your token, and you'll be able to demonstrate to the community that you can or can't do. And someone's telling me, would you send a link to the chat, please? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Juan, give me a second.
Oh, I got it.
I never pressed enter. That's the problem. There you go. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what the DeepFunding Academy aims to be. And if you've ever been a Catalyst proposer, reviewer, voter, you'll understand what this means, because it's just getting familiarized with the rules, getting familiarized with the guidelines, what each pool is about, and be able to review a proposal, basically. What that means. What does that mean for the deep funding ecosystem? What does that mean for Singularity? Wow, how is the use of AI? Is that allowed? Is that not allowed? What a review requires, what you should take into account when reviewer. And the same with a proposal, something that I think would be really useful that is included here, thanks to Rafa and Ubio. We have a great team of teachers that went through a workshop where we learned what an SLT is, what project-based learning is, and went through extensive program workshops of really understanding how to structure this outline and then fill it up with content. We have courses where lessons where you learn how to structure a milestone, how to structure a budget. What are some tips to make sure that your proposal is readable to reviewers? Something that I've had to learn in a hard way with Yoram, because he just massacres my proposal drafts. So I find it really useful. And the fact that it's through a project-based learning methodology, as I was kind of just putting the content into the platform, it was super fun engaging with that content. I kind of found it really interesting to just go over it and try to engage with it. So I guess I'll stop for questions right now because my mouth is dry. I can't talk anymore. Anyone have any questions? Must have been a really good explanation then.
Not a question, but a comment. It looks great. It's something that we all need to do. We need to kind of get a little deeper into this and connected with what we are doing with Playground and the other things that we do.
I agree. I think so. I really like, so Plutus PBL is kind of, it's developer focused, but this is kind of a different area. And for a long time, I've told the team that I'm really excited about this initiative because it's just about learning how to be some things that we already do. This is kind of just a different way. We're going to be able, if you go through the course, to show that you've done the work of being a reviewer and what that means in terms of improving that activity within deep funding. And if we do deep funding, we call it DeepFunding Academy Phase 1 Genesis, because the idea is this is just a proof of concept. This is just the first step. But you can think of any number of courses that can be, or any number of modules that can be added. You can add modules specific to each pool. There's no limit on how deep or how specific you can be if you want to specialize in any way. And if this is a way for reviewers and proposers to just get a better quality of review, get a better quality of proposal through, I think that's the best that we can think of, that we can wish for. So yeah. Anyone have any questions of how, well, the Discord, oh, thanks, Rafa. You can join the DeepFunding Academy Discord. I just want to show, look at this, And there's still some styling stuff. I've been trying to do some web development, but I really suck at it, so it takes time. But I really like how it looks. But yeah, it's kind of basic, right? You just go through each lesson. And yeah, that's kind of it. Did I miss something, Rafa?
No, I don't think so. I think that was pretty comprehensive. I'm curious, as we are here and we're all here and we're all friends, does anybody here has already participated in deep funding? And if you have, how was the experience? I guess Lucas has a question, so please, Lucas, you first.
Yeah, well, I haven't participated. I just heard about it in the community and all the promotion that has been done. Liaising with what Roberto, by the way, congrats for the presentation. What you were saying, so the goal of this platform is to enable people to be reviewers, to contribute to the ecosystem. Could you talk a bit about the timeline, where it is, what cycles it's been going through? I'm not sure if you covered this, but so like, for example, if I start looking into this now, what would be like the estimate of time or hours to be that you would consider skilled? So in terms of like a ballpark estimate, and how would that then start going into the actual funding processes or rounds as you called it?
That's actually a really good question. Honestly, I don't know. I guess it will depend on your skill and experience level. If you have proposed before, if you have reviewed before, you'll probably be able to breeze by. It's just, you will need to become familiarized with deep funding guidelines and the rules for each pool. For example, if you want to be a reviewer, if you want to be a proposer and you have an idea of something very specific, then you can just do that. So it's really going to vary, but it's not, as I say, it is time. I don't think it's that loaded. And the idea behind what we want to do is to put this, we're going to start onboarding learners as soon as, I think, next week or in a couple of weeks. The idea is that people will be able to go through the course before deep funding round 4. So that by the start of deep funding round 4, you'll be able to know how to propose, know how to review, and you can participate in that process, because Singularity is, and what I like about Singularity is that they're actively researching ways to bring that community participation as part of your decision-making power. They are contemplating how to do that instead of just one coin, one vote. So I think this is like super cool that you'll be able to say, well, I reviewed 20 proposals and they were high quality proposals, so you get more voting power or something like that. I think that would be wonderful. That would be groundbreaking. So to answer your question, this is the worst answer, but I guess it's going to vary.
It depends.
It depends. But it's not a semester. It should be something that you would be able to go through in a week or 2 weeks tops, I think.
And round 4 you mentioned, is there a date for that?
Rafa, do we have a date? I've been asking, but I'm not sure when.
No, we don't have a date right now. As part of the course, what we teach people is where can you be updated in terms of the rounds, because it's like rounds like Catalyst, they have an announcement, and then you know what are the dates and you have all the information. So you do have like a place in their website, you do have a specific Telegram that you're always warned before a round, and you have also the town halls that we also show you how to get in, and you get informed with everything you need there. And of course, if you're joining the DFA Academy, we'll also informing you on our Discord and helping you out with that. In terms of hours, I think is what Roberto said. It should be fairly fast, but the good thing about this is like everything that you're doing here, you'd already be spending the hours doing it on your own, like doing a review, doing a proposal. You can pick the modules you want to do and do what's useful for you. So basically, it's just instead of doing it all on your own and learning from zero, you can have some guidance on how to do it in the best way possible, some tips, and hopefully it will make your life easier. So hopefully, if you're interested in participating, it will save you time instead of making you spend more time.
Yeah, looks great. Looks like you really like doing a great job in streamlining the onboarding of people and getting them contributing as fast and as best as possible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and just another thing in terms of like DeepFunding does work a lot with reputation systems, and it's something that's very important for them in voting. So they right now, with your engagement with the reviewer part of the proposals, you're actually rewarded with more voting power if you have a positive engagement. So to reward people that are actually spending the time to read the proposals, make informed judgments about these proposals, and then voting. And who knows, maybe in the future we can align the work here and the things people are doing here as something that could contribute to the reputation and their voting, which I think would be very interesting. And they also have other stuff that I think is very nice to experiment with, like quadratic voting, that I personally would like to see it on Catalyst, and it's great to see it on SingularityNET. And in terms of the rounds, as Catalyst, this is an experimental round, an experimental fund. So basically every round, the rules change a little bit, and we'll try to keep you informed and update on those changes.
Thanks for your question, Lucas.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Hi, everyone. Great work, looking really good. I guess a couple of questions. What sort of ideal target audience is for it to be a learner coming through the system? And maybe following on with what your decision process is around choosing Andamio as a platform would be interesting, because I know that there's a lot more sort of chain interaction that can come than just offering a learning platform. Have you got plans for bringing in? I know you've got the wallet connect and things like that, which are going to be crucial to certain people coming in. If, like you were saying about a reputation system, is there going to be maybe a credential that comes off the back of this that then contributes towards your trust score or whatever, Singularity goes on to credit you with after this?
So to the first question, what is the ideal? I've been, I guess, if you are interested in developing an AI project, or if you're interested in getting funded for something like, for example, Alex just asked me on Discord, I'm working on this DAO project that is focused on researching different ways of governance. I would say, I'm going to tell Alex, go into DeepFunding Academy, go through the proposer module, go through the rules, understand, go through previously funded proposals, see what they're funding right now, and you're going to get a good idea of what the proposal process is and what the proposals that are being funded are. So there's a wide variety of topics that you can apply to. One of them was marketing, for example, and now there's a marketing circle, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have another marketing pool where you're going to be able to propose just a marketing project. Like Rafa said, it doesn't have to be AI specific. And as far as why using Andamio and what that brings, so this is very personal to me, but I really see that as Andamio's infrastructure, right? It's underlying, it sort of supports. Andamio is scaffold, and that's the reason why we called it that way. And I can really see a lot of different courses that are connected between them, and that's what I would like. It's how do you create an on-chain representation of reputation? And that's a really loaded word, what reputation means. And I think it needs to be very nuanced. And it's not just one thing. You can have a reputation as something, but a community member is known for very different things, right? You go to different things, your personality is composed of very different things. So you can say the same of being part of a community like SingularityNET or DeepFunding, right? And you would be able to participate. You could be a mentor. You could be some sort of AI expert. You could be a blockchain expert, and you would be able to differentiate yourself among the community, and you would get opportunities, or you would be even offered opportunities for contribution, depending on what your credential says. but this is kind of like dreaming in a pie in the sky. Eventually, I would really like to see a lot of different Andamio instances for different areas of the Singularity ecosystem, each instance with different courses that allow you to really navigate through them and see, oh, okay, I want to be a proposer, but I also want to be a tooling pool expert. So I'm going to take that course and get those credentials. And you don't have to go through the rigmarole of, oh, I need to take the entire course and get my certificate and invest how many hours. You're going to really be able to pinpoint this student learning target. That's interesting to me. I want to acquire that skill, and it's going to show. And so it's really going to be interesting, as opposed to like what we're used to of having like a entire syllabus of whatever course you took or whatever degree you took, really specifically what you learned and how you apply that, right? How you've been able to contribute through those skills. That's kind of, yeah.
Really nice, yeah.
I would add something. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just thinking it's kind of a modular approach to learning rather than a curriculum, which is great.
Very much so, yeah.
And I feel it's very practical as well. You have the tasks that you have to complete, and you need to figure out how to do them on your own. But here you just guided through a journey to do them, and hopefully to take on some of the learnings other people already had in the past, and start from there, like start from a higher level, let's say, than if you had to go through all of these on your own. And in terms of participation, I think everyone that is interested in like technology, decentralized funding, and AI is welcome, even if you don't have an AI idea, or if you don't have the skills to develop an AI project, because you can start as a reviewer, you can start as a voter. You have rewards for that. It's a great way to start learning, and then you join the community, and sometimes in the community you find people that actually have the skill sets you need. You connect with them, you can start a proposal with them, and who knows, in the future you might be a proposer yourself and have a grant and have a project just from this first step. So I think if you're interested in any of that, go ahead.
Perfect, thanks. James?
Yeah, John, thank you for asking that question, and Roberto for pointing out like reputation is a loaded word, right? And I want to follow up also on, John, your question about, is there a credential on the back end of this? And what's so exciting here is, we can talk about the limitations of one coin, one vote, or, token weighted voting systems and all that. And that's fine. And you can imagine the implementations of those, right? We need to look in somebody's wallet, take a snapshot of how many tokens are in that wallet on this date. We allocate voting power accordingly. And that's great. And all of that can be done with on-chain validation too, right? We can say, well, if you have this many tokens, we'll give you a different token that represents a vote over here, right? There's all sorts of different systems we can build. All this system is doing is saying, okay, well, one thing we can validate against is the number of tokens somebody holds. Another thing we can validate against is the sort of data that we're attaching to that token that you already saw Roberto mint, right? And just like we can, there's functions in Plutus to count the number of tokens at an address or as inputs or outputs to a transaction, there's functions that allow us to look at the datum and say, oh, hey, did this person complete module 202? If so, anybody can make a credential for them, or anybody can give that person the opportunity to vote. And there's not even a need for a global reputation system. Right, that's still very, very challenging to build. I don't think we're yet close to that kind of perfectly non-custodial, automatically running global reputation system. But what we do have are these opt-in systems of reputation, right? Does it matter to you or to this group or that team that somebody completed this set of modules? And if somebody decides it does, that's where the credential is going to come from. Hey, I'm building a team. I need somebody who did all 5 modules in this course. And I can look, and I can even automate that. I can make a little portal just like this minting portal that you saw here, that somebody can come to and they can say, oh, I did those 5 modules. Can I mint the advanced token? Sure you can, right? That's automatically validated. And now that you've got that, maybe that serves something like a credential for people. But we don't know yet, right? We haven't seen this in the wild. So it's very exciting to start to imagine what kinds of privileges individuals and small groups might start to offer each other for going through these learning experiences. And we get to figure that out over the next few months.
Nice.
Might take more than a few months. I don't know. This is going to be long term.
I've been sucked into playing Polytopia by my kids recently, and there's a sort of element of upgrading your little warriors. They make 3 kills and suddenly they're skilled up and they now a veteran. And it's the same sort of I'm applying Polytopia to everything I see now, unfortunately, like including driving, but it's the same sort of thing. I can imagine, you've got this whole recipe of skills that you can then decide where you're going to spend your time on an upskill and gain the ultimate crew and tackling, the job that you're after or the project you want to get yourself involved in or something like that. So yeah, it's very cool. And it's so complex a sphere that we won't know what it looks like until it starts popping quality devs out the other end or marketers out the other end or whoever that is. It's exciting. Well done.
Thanks everybody. If there's no more questions, I would invite you have the link, go play around, go mint your DFA learner token. I wanted to show you, look at this beauty. Felix made it, designed this. Can I zoom in? I can't zoom into the thing, but it's really cool, really cute. You're a learner NFT. And yeah, go through the courses. See if you want to fulfill any tasks, explore the reviewer proposer process. There's plenty that we can learn and apply to Catalyst if they listen.
And these tokens are on pre-production testnet for now, right?
Exactly. So it's no cost at all for now. You can mint, burn at your
phase of play.
as much as you want, and it's fine. And I can say that for experience because I've been minting and burning all morning trying to test stuff. So yeah, you can update your info, check out the learner, check out your token on the Cardano scan or whatever. It's just fun. It's just pretty fun. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for your attention, for your time.
And who built that wallet lesson? I know you reused a video, but the lesson looks fabulous.
That was Essay, who's here on the call.
Essay, congrats. This is one of the best wallet connect lessons I've ever seen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Really, really comprehensive.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really good. So you can imagine another thing that the Andamio team is curious about is what is a lesson like this worth, right? If somebody like Essay writes an absolutely perfect, and I haven't read all the details, right? So I don't want to call it perfect yet, but like suppose this lesson is really, really good, right? And it does the job of helping people connect their browser wallet to testnet. I mean, nobody should have to rewrite this lesson. What if we could pay for licensing it and pay, say, the DeepFunding Academy team, for example, for the ability to reuse a lesson like this in other courses? That gives rise to a whole bunch of new questions about tokenomics and how we share content like this. But I think this is such a beautiful example.
Yeah, the team that created the content, Rafa, Ese, Ines, even Felix did some writing and reviewing. They really did an amazing job. It's really incredible what they got from the workshops, just grasping the whole concept of student learning targets and PBL, which is not in itself easy to kind of master. They just ran with it, and it's been really fun working with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Feel free to play around. You have the link. You can join the DeepFunding Academy. Please join. Feel free to join. Ask questions. We're always going to be there, paying attention to anything that might come up. And we'll soon be announcing. We'll have just like there's like live coding sessions. We're going to have a couple of live sessions where we're going to answer questions, and if anyone having trouble with, I don't know, navigating the platform or anything, questions like that, we'll be having some sessions to address those issues and answer questions in general about the DeepFunding Academy. So stay tuned. That'll be announced in either DeepFunding Academy Discord. We also have DeepFunding Academy on Twitter, DeepFunding Academy YouTube. There's all sorts of different channels where you can keep up to date.
Even if just the browse, I'm gonna join it for sure because I want to eavesdrop everywhere.
Thanks, Lucas.
Cheers.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And yeah, also please bear in mind this is the Genesis version and this is the first version, so we'll need to do a lot of improvements, but your feedback is very appreciated. So if you find any issues, just drop us a message.
Is there a Chancellor on the Brink reference in there somewhere? No?
We keep it very simple.
Is there a particular channel in the Discord for feedback?
It should have the channel is the campus channel has announcements, has open chat, and there's one called DFA PBL. That's the DeepFunding Academy course. So you can drop your questions there, but we'll be aware of any channel that's open. So
yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, thanks.
Right now,
the Twitter on the chat.
Right now it's still very close. We want to have a few people. We are still having a few people and keep it all close, and we'll try to give a lot of individualized support in this first version, even for learning from you, seeing what's missing. Maybe we could create some other module to complete what we have. So yeah, hopefully, and if you guys want, there will be a close interaction. If you don't want, you're free to do it all on your own as well.
Yeah, it's important to note that this is the first step, and we really want to. The best way to kind of move forward is through feedback and interaction with the platform and the content itself. That will give us a really good idea of what to go back and tell Singularity and DeepFunding. Listen, this is what people need to be able to participate better, whether that's more specific content or just more lessons or anything like that. And yeah. And then hopefully soon we'll be able to link this to contribution opportunities and things like that. So it's just going to get better.
It's beautiful. And for anybody who doesn't know, Plutus PBL over here at Gimbalabs started with 5 people in the fall of 2021. One of them was Adrian, by the way, so he was a good guy to meet. But since then, right after trying that first round and very slowly and patiently experimenting with what we could do there, we went through a few iterations and, now have hundreds of people per year signing up for it. So you guys are on the same journey. It's so exciting to know that you'll have a couple people moving through right now. Maybe one of them's like Adrian. You got to watch out, right? Because you never know what kind of experts you're going to meet in these early crops, but you guys get to refine that together. It's a really exciting moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pretty pumped.
Thank you. Congratulations and great presentation.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and
Yeah,
for
great job.
your questions and support as well.
They're coming later. Well, actually, for that, it would be great to have the way to get contact you guys. Feedback. I guess the platform has a way to do it, but maybe the Discord or
It's right now it's mostly like manual, it's Discord, but I've been thinking that we should add some sort of survey in the platform itself. And that's easy to do. That's kind of a link to a Google form pretty much. But yeah, no, absolutely. Getting feedback in any way possible. It's very important. So we have the Q&A sessions that we're gonna do like live sessions. That's one way, but Discord is definitely a good channel to drop and say, this is not working, or this is, I don't know, I don't understand this. We also have a registration form if you're interested. We're trying to just kind of gauge what are the best times to do the live workshops, because obviously people are all over the world. So let me just grab that and share it here in case you want to fill it up. Where is this? Here we go.
If it's helpful when the next funding round launches, if anybody wanted to collaborate on a playground session right here where we just look at the funding categories together and think big. I don't think we've spent enough time at Playground playing around with what deep funding is for, right? Or just more generally, this whole AI wave that's been going on while we've been focused on blockchain. You might have heard about it. But yeah, that could be really fun to get together and just process what those ideas are and throw some ideas around in a structured way.
There's definitely a lot happening in that space. It's pretty exciting. Ajax jumped like ridiculous amounts. It's worth like $1 now. It was worth 30 cents like 6 months ago. So there's definitely things happening, and it's exciting. I imagined I wasn't here, but I imagine was like the early days of Catalyst, where there was a lot of innovation going on and sort of grassroots community development and involvement. So it's pretty cool. All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for this one.
May I have a question? May I ask a question to everybody? I mean, this is one of the best playgrounds that I have attended, and wanted to hear from you guys what you think. Especially the newbies, the first timers.
You better all say that this is the best playground you've all ever had. All of you. Put it in the
You don't
chat.
have the
in
boxing
writing.
bag behind you anymore. You had it just now, right? So when you
I
have
hit
that
it. I
boxing
hit it.
bag,
It's not.
yeah,
It's not good. That's not. I don't want that. It looks menacing. I don't know. Yeah.
Nice.
it was cool.
Because it goes a little bit far away from the traditional playground that we have in terms of we're talking about DeepFunding Academy, which is SingularityNET, which is a little bit a different environment, a different ecosystem. That's my perception of that.
And that's something. The appreciation of this space is important. These spaces are what builds community, and it was nice to come here and find friends and kind of be able to talk a little bit more relaxed. I don't like these things, but but it's nice among friends. It's a good place to just not say things, but kind of practice as well. This is not the only time we're going to do this, but definitely Gimbalabs Playground is kind of like coming home. So I really appreciate the space and your attention, your time, guys, for being here. Thank you.
Sometimes I think about, like, the other day I was thinking, like, why do we need Bitcoin? Why we need Cardano to keep people honest about value? And if everyone was like absolutely honest, like there's some fantasies or something, you wouldn't even need that, because no one would steal value from each other. And the reason why we need the funding rounds and all the evaluators and etc. is for the same reason, to check on each other, So, but it's good that we have these spaces where we actually already have that meritocracy established, or that trust in each other, so that when we come, if we were to have some funds to manage or something, we knew what we could depend on each other, or how much we've already done together. So I find that contrast quite interesting. And I think, like, if you have these kinds of spaces, you almost don't need that type of outsourcing of evaluators and all. Cool.
Lucas, when you say that, you make me think about the Cardano logo as the roadmap. Our goal is to get to all those small little outer circles, independent from each other, right? We're still in the phase where there's a lot of power and influence concentrated in places, as there's always going to be in early days. But we have the option and the opportunity to kind of move beyond that phase and have the action happening out on the edges. So let's see if we can get there. Cool. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. There's no playground next week, but feel free to use the space in the Gimbalabs Discord. We'll pick it up on April 23rd. Is this, I see, yeah, okay, so Newman has some ideas about decentralized identity, self-sovereign verifiable credentials. I know he was chasing the eclipse yesterday. So Newman, if you catch up on this, hope it was fun. See you soon. And Kyle, we got you excellent on the agenda for a couple weeks from now. Fabulous. That's nice to hear. Cool. Looking forward to that one too.
Yeah. I'll jump in quick and just kind of, I appreciate this space. I've been trying to find spaces like this, so I very much appreciate Alex inviting me in and kind of telling me on the backside, what this is all about. So it's really nice to, listen to this presentation. And, I'm excited for the next playground, where we talk about digital or decentralized identity identifiers, because that will feed directly into what I'm working on. So the TLDR on mine is trying to enhance. I live in Zambia, been here 10 years. I'm originally from the States, but TLDR is enhancing savings and lending communities that already exist, so they can build real bottom-up financial systems. Like, I came here for the real fi, so let's build the real fi.
Let's go. Oh, it's great to meet you. And yeah, congrats on this progress so far. Okay, can't wait to hear more about this. And thanks for finding a through line. You did the work for the rest of us of connecting the narrative here. Thanks. Very cool. And for anybody else, if you're watching this presentation, we do this on most Tuesdays, 1800 UTC, gimbalabs.com/calendar. You can find the details. So take care, everybody. See you real soon.